Hi guys, Joe here, and welcome to 750 Gaming. In this one we'll reflect on a couple of the 40k previews from the Nova Open that have really twisted my noodle. So, of course, there were lots of 40k announcements from the Nova Open, as the accompanying part of the Tyranid reveals post-battle for Oghram, but there were two standout previews for me that, confused me somewhat. The first one was of course the worst kept secret in the 40k release schedule, but the second one caught me off guard somewhat. But first let's discuss the new Primaris jump troops. We of course knew they were coming, and people have been kit bashing their own for a good while now, so Games Workshop knew that there would be a demand. We all saw a Primaris Titus in the Space Marine 2 computer game trailers and previews flying around with a jump pack, so it stood to reason that there would be something in the 40k pipeline. Or perhaps it was the other way round. What came first, computer game or lore? Chicken or the egg? Or perhaps Steve from Little Plastic People? No matter the genesis, following the retirement of the Firstborn Assault Squad, the Primaris Assault Squad, or rather the Jump Assault Intercessors, naturally, are here. And they are a bit meh. 20 years ago, when I was in my teens and indulging in 3rd edition, I got myself an assault squad of old. 5 guys with chainsaws and bolt pistols and jump packs. Yeah, they were cool. And some of them even came notionally left-handed, so the young kit basher in me was able to give one guy 2 chainsaws like some sort of ninja, and another 2 pistols to fly in like Neo or something. At the time, I was glad of the simple, limited loadout. I was just enamoured by a squad of chainsaw wielders. It probably wasn't the only way, but it was certainly the most obvious way to field a squad like that. All things have changed, of course. Fast forward 20 years, and the chainsaws are in abundant supply in your standard Assault Intercessor or Black Templar Crusader squads or whatever. And with the dawn of 10th edition and the somewhat interesting choice to give a single weapon profile to the Vanguard vets, the modern day assault squad with its now plentiful loadout options suddenly became a very appealing once more. I had considered primarising my Black Templar Vanguard vets to fit my preferred aesthetic. After all, I'd already done some primarised Van vets come Wolfguard for my female Space Wolves, with twin Lightning Claws to boot. Of course, I'm now listing them with the slightly less exciting sounding and less hard-hitting heirloom weapon and storm shield combo. Such is life. Artistic license suggests that if Wolverine can block pretty much anything with his adamantine claws, then, so can these girls. And therefore, I spit in the face of the what you see is what you get lawyers who are searching for a shield on my models, but I digress. Assault squads were cool again, and for a limited time, a legitimate option for a Primaris kit bash. And so I did it. And I loaded out my sergeant with twin lightning claws, I gave one dude an eviscerator, and in homage to the Crusader squad proper, I gave one guy a flamer. They were momentarily a Primaris-sized airborne assault squad. Until suddenly they weren't, and now all we're left with are faster moving assault intercessors with the fly keyword, and likely a significant points tax to boot. They better do something cool in game, that's all I'll say. We'll have to await the Codex. And talking of Codex, it was also announced there'd be a new jump captain that could attach to your new jump assault intercessors. Yep, makes sense. But it's really interesting because they still haven't retired the old one. The new one, just like the jump assault intercessors, has a seemingly limited loadout. Just a power weapon or power fist for melee apparently. Whereas the old guy was a bit more versatile. He could be your proper smash captain, Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Bosh, done. I kit bashed a Primaris-sized one of these, naturally. And it made sense that Firstborn, albeit bigger smash captain, could attach to the Firstborn, but again bigger, assault squad. And of course it makes sense that the new limited Primaris flyboys can all swoop in hand. But, as I said, the old guy didn't fly off into the sunset with the old squad. At least, not in that original announcement. So, is he staying? Can I still bring my old but better smash captain to the fray? Can he attach to the actual new Primaris boys, or is he now a lone operative to fly around with his big ass hammer by himself? Or will he be silently pushed out the door when no one is looking? Time will have to tell. And of course that leads me on to the curveball that is Primaris Scouts, because I wouldn't have been all that disappointed had Father Time told for these guys. Of course, I'm not overly surprised that they came back bigger. It makes a whole lot of sense in the lore that any new recruits to the Space Marine ranks are going to be Primaris. You know, as the lore progresses, the existence of Firstborn Scouts declines. It's only logical. And with the Primaris neophytes in the Black Templars Crusader Squad, Games Workshop obviously had a template and a release path. What confuses me about their comeback / Games Workshop's insistence to include them in the new Codex is that I just don't think they make a whole lot of sense thematically on the tabletop. And it turns out a few of you who commented on my original Firstborn retirement reaction video seem to agree. Yes, they make sense for the Black Templars. The Black Templars are a knightly order, and so the idea that each Black Templar knight, aka initiate, would have his own squire or knight in training, aka neophyte, fits. I don't mind it, I'm a Black Templars player, I like it. They also make sense in the Space Wolves, because again, Space Wolves aren't particularly Codex compliant, and to them it makes sense to allow your crazy new recruits to go off to battle against stupid odds with little to no armour as a rite of passage. A proof of strength, of character, of worthiness, whatever, before, becoming a Space Wolf proper. If they happen to somehow survive, of course. Fair enough, that's just how they do things on Fenris. But for any other chapter, your numbers are limited by the Codex Astartes. You do not have an unlimited supply of Space Marines like the good old days pre-heresy. Time has proven that recruitment in the vast universe of the 41st, 42nd millennia can be particularly sketchy, and yet, you are choosing to send full squads of your new recruits into full-on battle with limited training, limited equipment, and limited armour, and expecting them to actually fulfill a significant battlefield role. And stay alive to become fully fledged Space Marines in the future. That's just insane. And with the advent of Phobos Armoured Space Marines with their covert abilities, and for goodness sake the Scout keyword and ability, what even is the point of Scouts in an army list? Once upon a time you took them because you could take sniper rifles. These days, they are going to have to be able to do something really radical for me on the battlefield for me to be taking Scouts over Eliminators or Incursors. So yeah, Scouts, I don't really get them. They should have stayed retired, in my opinion. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, of course. Naturally, I could well be pleasantly surprised, and history has proven that with 10th edition so far, that's the case. For instance, in my pre-Leviathan on-sale video, I declared I was only really interested in big boy Terminators, and the rest of the units in that box could go suck it. And yet today, I've purchased exactly 0 Terminators off of the eBay machine, and I'm not overly excited by the new multi-part preview, whereas actually, I've bought a bazillion Infernus Marines and Sternguard Vets. And actually, that multi-part Sternguard Vet box looks awesome, by the way. We'll do another video on that later. But again, that's all just my tuppence worth. If you fancy letting me know how you reacted to these previews and what you're planning after the announcements, then hit me up in the comment section below. Or if you've got any thoughts on what the new Codex is going to look like, then do share, because I love to read your ideas. Fingers crossed some of my 10th edition army idea videos will be up next, so hopefully I'll see you again then. But as ever, thanks for watching. Let's go! As always, I just do this for fun and make these videos when I can. I don't have a regular release schedule, they just happen when they happen. So, if you want to make sure you don't miss a beat over the next few months and going forward, then hit subscribe so you can catch these when they come. If you enjoyed this or any of my other videos, then do hit that like button, as it really helps boost my ego. and do come check me out on Instagram for all my hobbying updates. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one.